Baldur's Gate is one of the most iconic cities in the Forgotten Realms, known for political intrigue, deadly adventures, and its mercenary army, the Flaming Fist. But who are these legendary soldiers, and why does everyone in the Sword Coast both respect and fear them? In this video, we're diving deep into the history, leadership, and reputation of the Flaming Fist, exploring how they rose from a small band of adventurers to the city's most powerful military force. Plus, show you how to use them in your own D&D campaigns. The Flaming Fist didn't start as the powerful mercenary company we know today. Their story begins with a small group of adventurers who saw an opportunity in Baldur's Gate, a city rich with trade, wealth, and danger, but lacking a formal army to protect it. In these early days, the city's rulers outsourced their defense, hiring these adventurers to maintain order and respond to threats. The group quickly earned a reputation for discipline, skill, and their effectiveness, making themselves indispensable to Baldur's Gate. Over time, their contracts expanded from patrolling the streets to defending the city from external threats, enforcing laws, and acting as a quasi-military police force. Their founder, Eltan, a former adventurer, became the first marshal of the Flaming Fist. Under his leadership, the company grew from a handful of mercenaries into the city's primary military force, eventually earning him the title of Grand Duke of Baldur's Gate. Their headquarters, the Sea Tower of Baldur, served as their command center, strategically located to oversee both the harbor and the city's gates. And of course, that symbol of theirs, their emblem, the clenched fist wreathed in flames, became synonymous with their authority, striking both fear and respect into citizens and enemies alike. From these humble beginnings, the Flaming Fist set the stage for centuries of influence, shaping not only the security, but also the politics of Baldur's Gate. They weren't just mercenaries, they were the city's sword and shield, and their story was just beginning. To help understand the Flaming Fist, you have to look at them not just as soldiers, but as mercenaries. From the very beginning, they were a professional fighting company for hire, willing to take contracts far beyond Baldur's Gate. Their services came at a steep price, but their reputation for discipline and effectiveness made them one of the most sought-after forces on the coast. The company was structured like a military, but with a mercenary's pragmatism. New recruits could come from almost anywhere: farmhands, adventurers, ex-soldiers, criminals, looking for a fresh start. What mattered most wasn't where you came from, but whether you could fight, follow orders, and bring coin to the company. Members of the Flaming Fists received steady pay, food and equipment, and the promise of loot shares from campaigns abroad. This made them an attractive alternative to the uncertain life of adventuring, and a step up from the often thankless role of a city guard. In Baldur's Gate, serving in the Fist wasn't just a job, it was a path to respectability, and sometimes to power. But make no mistake, the Flaming Fist was always a business. While they defended Baldur's Gate and maintained order within the city, they also hired themselves out across Faerun. From the jungles of Chult to border wars within Am, their blades followed the coin as much as the cause. This mercenary nature meant their loyalty was not always to ideals, but to contracts and stability. For citizens of Baldur's Gate, this created an interesting duality. The Fist were both protectors and enforcers. To some, they were heroes, keeping privates and raiders at bay. To others, they were little more than soldiers of fortune, enforcing order with iron fists and taking coin for causes that had nothing to do with the city's welfare. As the Flaming Fist proved their worth, they quickly evolved from a small group of hired adventurers into Baldur's Gate's primary military force. Their influence extended far beyond patrolling streets or guarding trade routes. They became key players in the city's political and social landscapes. Through military dominance, the Flaming Fist became the de facto army of Baldur's Gate. Their soldiers, organized into elite units known as the Blazes and standard troops called Gauntlets, could respond to riots, defend the city from external attacks, and even quell uprisings. Their effectiveness made them indispensable to the city's rulers. Then, through political power, unlike a typical mercenary company, the Flaming Fist gained sway over political decisions. Their leaders, especially Eltan, held seats of influence advising the dukes and shaping city policies. They were trusted enough to enforce laws, collect taxes, and sometimes negotiate with powerful outsiders or rival factions. Their public perception, well, growing power earned them respect and fear in equal measure. Citizens relied on them for protection, yet the same mercenary drive that made them effective also made them a force to be cautious of. Their dual identity as both protectors and enforcers set the tone for centuries of influence. During this period, the Flaming Fist solidified their presence at the Sea Tower of Baldur, which became more than just a headquarters. It was a symbol of their authority and a reminder that Baldur's Gate streets were under their watchful eyes. By the end, the Flaming Fist was no longer just a group of hired swords. They were the backbone of Baldur's Gate security, a rising power in politics, and a symbol of order and strength throughout the coast. No organization lasts without strong leadership, and the Flaming Fist is no exception. From its early days to the modern era, its leaders have shaped both the company's effectiveness and the reputation in Baldur's Gate. Eltan, the founder, a former adventurer, became the first marshal of the Flaming Fist. Under his guidance, the company transformed from a small band of mercenaries into the city's primary military force. Eltan's leadership emphasized discipline, loyalty, and strategic thinking, earning him the title of Grand Duke of Baldur's Gate. His vision laid the foundation for the Flaming Fist's enduring influence. And of course, you have the modern face of the Flaming Fist, Ulder Ravengard. Centuries later, rose to the ranks to become Marshal and later a Grand Duke in his own right. Ravengard is disciplined, honorable, and deeply committed to the safety of Baldur's Gate. But unlike some mercenary leaders, his loyalty is to the city and its people, though he maintains the Fist's reputation as a powerful, sometimes fearsome military force. He's had some notable actions. He's led the Flaming Fist during the events of the 5th edition's descent into Avernus, balancing military precision with political diplomacy. His presence ensures the company operates as a structured, reliable force, capable of enforcing the law and projecting power. And of course, as any organization, they do have a structure. Marshal, the highest ranking officer, commands the company. Blazes, elite soldiers tasked with special missions or high-risk operations. The Gauntlets, standard soldiers forming the bulk of the Fist. Their symbol and identity, the Flaming Fist emblem, a flaming clenched fist, remains a mark of authority and discipline throughout all ranks. This clear hierarchy ensures the Flaming Fist can respond quickly, enforce orders efficiently, and maintain loyalty, whether on the battlefield, patrolling city streets, or navigating the complex politics of Baldur's Gate. By now, the Flaming Fist was no longer just a mercenary company. They had become a symbol of power in Baldur's Gate. But with influence comes perception, and the Flaming Fist is as respected as it is feared. The Fist is known for its military discipline, tactical skill, and reliability. Citizens of Baldur's Gate and allies across the Sword Coast rely on their protection against bandits, mercenaries, and external threats. Their reputation for efficiency makes them the cornerstone of the city's safety and a stabilizing force during conflicts. However, their mercenary nature and willingness to enforce orders, even harsh ones, have earned them fear. Outsiders know that the Flaming Fist can act decisively and sometimes ruthlessly to accomplish their mission. Within the city, rumors of corruption or overreach occasionally circulate, reminding the citizens that the Fist operates above ordinary laws in matters of discipline and enforcement. Unlike adventuring parties or smaller mercenary groups like the Red Sashes, the Flaming Fist blends military might with political influence. They are not just hired swords, they are a governing force, enforcing the will of Baldur's Gate's leadership while maintaining their own autonomy. In essence, the Flaming Fist represents the dual nature of power: protection and intimidation, order and fear. Their presence ensures that Baldur's Gate is defended, but it also reminds adventurers that authority in the realms can be complex, morally gray, and sometimes very dangerous. The Flaming Fist isn't just rich lore. They're an incredibly versatile tool for dungeon masters and players alike. If you want them as allies, antagonists, or a recurring faction, the Flaming Fist can fit seamlessly into your campaign. As an ally, the Flaming Fist can serve as a reliable military support for adventurers. You need some help defending Baldur's Gate, escorting merchants, or taking down bandits? The Fist is a ready-made solution. Their discipline and resources make them perfect for city-based campaigns or larger conflicts. An example of an adventure hook could be the party is hired by the Flaming Fist to investigate a smuggling ring or prevent a riot from escalating in the lower city. And of course, because they are mercenaries, they can be used as antagonists. The Flaming Fists can also be morally gray opponents. If the company is hired by a rival faction or following orders that conflict with the player characters, they can become a formidable adversary. An adventure hook example would be the Flaming Fist blocks access to a noble's estate, enforcing a controversial law, or captures someone the party is trying to help. As a faction, the Flaming Fist works perfectly as a reoccurring organization. They can influence city politics, enforce consequences for the party's actions, and offer long-term quest opportunities. Incorporating leaders like Ulder Ravengard or historical figures like Eltan adds narrative depth and a sense of continuity to your campaign. You can use squads, small patrols, 3 to 6 gauntlets with a blaze or a marshal leading. You can use the stat blocks of a mercenary or soldier NPC from the monster manual, adjusting numbers or abilities for your party's level. And you can scale them up, larger deployments or elite squads for mid to high level campaigns. By using the Flaming Fist in these ways, DMs can add depth, tension, and realism to the adventure, while players encounter a faction that feels alive, powerful, and integrated into the world of Baldur's Gate. For players who've stepped into the world of Baldur's Gate 3, the Flaming Fist is one of the most visible factions in the city and game. True to their roots in Dungeons & Dragons lore, they serve as Baldur's Gate's military and policing force, patrolling the streets, breaking up trouble, and enforcing order in the city where danger lurks around every corner. What stands out in Baldur's Gate 3 is how the Flaming Fist are portrayed as more than just faceless guards. Their presence is woven into the fabric of the city. You see them on patrol, questioning suspicious figures, and even clashing with criminal organizations. Depending on how your story unfolds, the Fist can be either allies who support justice or obstacles standing in your way. This reflects one of the most enduring truths about the Flaming Fist. They aren't purely heroes or villains. They are mercenaries bound to Baldur's Gate, with loyalty to the city's stability above all else. In Baldur's Gate 3, that duality is on full display. Some players experience them as protectors of the peace, while others see them as a heavy-handed reminder that the city is run by soldiers first and citizens second. By including the Fist so prominently, Baldur's Gate 3 reinforced their importance in Realm's lore. It ensures that new generations of players encounter this storied company, not just from the pages of rulebooks, but in the living, breathing streets of the city itself. Even after centuries, the Flaming Fist remains one of the most powerful forces in Baldur's Gate and across the Sword Coast. While their origins were humble, today they are central to the city's defense and political landscape. Ulder Ravengard serves as a modern marshal and Grand Duke, balancing military authority with political responsibilities. Under his leadership, the Flaming Fist remains disciplined, strategic, and deeply loyal to Baldur's Gate, even as they navigate the city's complex politics and occasional threats from outside forces. The Flaming Fist is featured prominently in official 5th edition material, including Descent into Avernus, where they patrol the city, enforce laws, and interact with the adventurers. Their presence adds structure and realism to a campaign set in Baldur's Gate, providing opportunities for alliance, conflicts, and intrigue. Their ongoing role highlights the enduring importance of organized military power within the Forgotten Realms. They show how a mercenary company can evolve into a respected institution, influencing not just battles, but the politics, law, and daily life of a major city. Whether as allies, rivals, or a faction shaping a city's future, the Flaming Fist continues to leave its mark on the Forgotten Realms, proving that some legacies endure far beyond their beginnings. From a small band of adventurers to the Sword Coast's most powerful mercenary company, the Flaming Fist has left an indelible mark on Baldur's Gate and the Forgotten Realms. Their story is one of discipline, loyalty, and influence, showing how a group of hired swords can evolve into a force that shapes politics, enforces law, and protects a city. If you're a dungeon master looking to add tension, adventure hooks, or political intrigue, or a player seeking allies or challenges, the Flaming Fist will offer endless possibilities. Their history, leaders like Eltan and Ulder Ravengard, and continuing presence in Baldur's Gate make them a faction that feels alive and vital in every campaign they're a part of. So next time you walk in the streets of Baldur's Gate, remember the Flaming Fist isn't just watching. They are the city's sword, its shield, and sometimes its shadow. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is James from the Dungeon Puffin, and until next time, later.